Welcome back, guys. Back to the EUC content. The last video was a bonus episode, by the way. If you didn't watch that, it's just an extra video. From time to time, I'll do that just to give you extra content. And I had someone unsubscribe because of that. I can see in the stats. So whoever did that, go F yourself. Ironically, they've already gone because they unsubbed. But conveniently, they're gone. Because I'm saying go F yourself. So it all works out, doesn't it? I'm just joking. You can unsub. I won't be angry. What can I do? Hit the like button if you want. Hit the down like. Up vote, down vote. Plus sub, minus sub. Mega sub, mini sub. Super sub. Down rate. B rate. Berate me in the comments if you need. B rate my video. Give it a B. C rate. I won't be irate about it. But now let's get on with this EUC story, guys. We've got a really sad story today. And viewer be warned, or listener more so, because it's more of a listening thing this time. And I don't expect it to be too long. I reckon like 8 minutes. So get ready for an 8-minute story. An EUC story. And it's crazy. It'll blow your mind. In 2021, Mario Vieceli was a 41-year-old single father to his only child Michael of 8 years. Michael had developed bone cancer soon after his mother was tragically killed, and they believe his cancer may have been triggered by depression. Michael's mother, Mario's wife, Cindy, was accidentally shot by a cop in 2016, 5 years earlier, during a robbery where the robbers were using fake guns. It was a very tragic accident. It affected both of them tremendously, especially the son, Michael, who they believe actually developed his cancer through the depression. Because when you're depressed, it lowers your immune system. Moving forward back to 2021, Michael, the son, is almost recovered from his cancer. It was actually a bone-related cancer, and it affected his ability to walk. Mario, the father, actually picked up EUC writing in 2018, and he'd been writing. He fell in love with it straight away, and had been writing ever since. He actually wants his son, Michael, to learn how to ride, and he believes it's going to be very good for him, especially to help his depression that he's been suffering from since his mother was killed. The only problem is his injuries have affected his ability to walk, and therefore he can't let his son ride yet until he's fully recovered. But they believe he's going to recover in about a year. So just to put you up to date where we are, we're in 2021 in this story, and Michael, the son, is set to recover in around 2022. They think he'll be all better and he'll be ready to ride EUCs. And Mario just wants this more than anything because it's gonna be extremely good for him. His son is actually super interested in Mario's EUC ever since he got it, and he's been running for 3 years now. And his son just loves that thing, but has never had the chance to ride one. And he's only 8 years old. He's not of age to be riding super fast or anything, but Mario wants him to just learn the balancing and get the basics of it. Moving forward to the 28th of November of 2021 at around 3 p.m, Mario and his son were at home, not doing much, just chilling out. Pretty normal day. Mario was about to do the dishes and he realized he needed some dish soap. They'd run out. So he told his son Michael that he's going to head out on his EUC to the gas station where he knows they sell household items and grab some dish soap. He only planned to take about 15 to 20 minutes. It was about 3 p.m. And so Michael went out on his EUC, headed to the local gas station where he knew they sell household items and things like that. And he walks in with his EUC, he pulls up the trolley handle, starts walking after he folds up the pedals, finds the dish soap, picks it up off the shelf, and then he gets in line. And it's a pretty long queue that day. It was a slow queue, so he was just waiting in line for a little while when he noticed that a drunk man had stumbled by as he went past him. He noticed it in his peripheral vision, and he looked over and he's like, oh, that guy's clearly drunk. And he didn't make much of it. He just took a glimpse and noted it and then just looked away. A moment later, Mario heard a ringing sound, like a small metal item had struck a hard surface. The sound seemed to come from the direction of the drunk man that he just saw. And so he looked back over and he noticed something on the ground. It was a set of keys. So this drunk guy had dropped some keys, and it looked like they had car keys on them. In that moment, Mario debated on what he should do. The drunk man clearly shouldn't be driving. Then again, he wasn't even sure if he drove in. Maybe they were just house keys and it had a car key on it. And he just walked in. So teetering between the different options he had in that moment, Mario decided it would be best to play it safe and not give the drunk man his keys, but hold on to him and decide what to do from there. So he went over and picked up the keys quietly and went back to his queue that he was waiting in. So he's waiting in line with a dish soap, waiting to get to the front so he can pay for it. And so he's standing there in the queue and he's thinking what he should do next with his keys. So he's got the drunk guy's keys. He decided he's going to wait to get to the front and then he's going to talk to the gas station attendant about the situation. Before Mario would reach the front of that queue, the drunk man would notice that Mario had his keys and became annoyed. Mario thought for a moment, maybe I should just hand him his keys? But instead he asked first, "Are you driving, sir?" In a sneering and hubristic manner, the man replies, "Yeah, buddy, give me back my keys." Mario started to feel a bit of pressure that moment, a little bit intimidated. So what he did next, he walked over to the wall and leaned his EUC against the wall so he wouldn't be preoccupied holding this EUC, in case this guy attacks or something. And then after he did that, he said, "I'm really sorry, sir, but I can't let you drive in this state. You could get someone killed." The man immediately became extremely hostile and said in a very loud and aggressive tone, "Give me back my shit, you piece of effing mother. What the F is wrong with you?" And as he was saying all this, he was getting in Mario's face. So he had his chest up, kind of pushing him, insinuating that he's going to become physical. At this point, everyone else in the store had no idea what was going on. They didn't notice the keys had dropped and the fact that Mario had this guy's keys. Mario decided in that moment that it's not worth it, just forget the whole idea. So he just gave him his keys back. He said, "All right, I'm sorry, sir. My mistake." What he figured he would do, though, in his mind, he said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow this guy to his car, get his license plate, and then call the authorities. Let them know that there's this drunk guy on the road and they need to get him off the road because he's a danger. Mario proceeded to make his way through the queue and finally paid for his dish soap. Then he hastily hurried over to see where this drunk man had gone in order to take note of his number plate, his license plate. But he never found him. He was too late. By the time he went over, the drunk man had disappeared. So he had no idea where he even went, which car he was in, if he was even in a car. So he vanished. Mario was a little dismayed and regretted not following him immediately rather than first paying for his dish soap. The real reason he didn't actually follow him is he felt awkward walking out because it would have appeared to the store clerk that like he was trying to steal something. Because he was in the queue, and then if he suddenly just walks out, he just felt awkward about it, so that's why he didn't do that. So he thought, I'll just pay for this first, and then follow him, and then get his license plate. But it was too late. He didn't have enough time. So anyway, he went home later that day, everything was normal, went to bed early that night, and had a good sleep. The next day he woke up early, and he watched the morning news. As he drank his coffee, he watched all the segments they ran through, mostly pretty mundane stuff. And halfway through one of the segments, a story comes up saying a drunk driver killed 4 people, including himself, in a vehicle accident. Mario's heart immediately sank. Could it be the same guy from the gas station? What are the odds? Seems like a crazy coincidence. Unfortunately for Mario, the story didn't show a picture of the actual man, the drunk driver that killed these people, so he couldn't be sure if it was the guy from the gas station, right? The news story did show his vehicle though, but Mario never saw the vehicle. So he was unable to determine whether it was the same guy. It kind of drove him crazy though after that. He couldn't stop thinking about it. He was like, man, could it be? Because it was a bit, the timing of it would suggest it could have been, but he thought, it's a bit of a coincidence. It would turn out that the 4 people who got killed by this drunk driver were extremely high-profile relatives of a multi-billionaire that had tremendous power in this area. Mario didn't know this, but it wouldn't make much difference because at this point he was determined to just forget about the whole thing. After all, he didn't even know if it was the same guy that he met in the gas station. So he had just moved on from it completely and went on with his life. Everything was good. His son was doing well. Every day he was getting a little bit better. And he was probably ready to write EUC at this point, but Mario still knew it was best to wait. He had another full year to wait to be really sure, especially because when you're learning, you can fall off. And the last thing he wants is for his son to have some kind of injury that's going to set him back even further. So he's being patient about it. And as time went on, things were still normal. 6 weeks later, so 6 weeks after that little incident at the gas station with that drunk guy, Mario was laying in bed watching TV, half awake, kind of half asleep, dozing off, but still semi-aware that the TV was still on. He was kind of in a semi-dream state, very relaxed, when suddenly there's a loud knock on the door. Mario immediately comes to and thinks to himself, who could that be? I'm not expecting anyone. At this time, who would even knock on the door at this time? Suddenly the knocking gets louder. So Mario gets up, makes his way over to the door, and guardedly opens it. And as the gap opens up, he's met with the sight of 4 armed men in police uniforms. It was the police. Mario says, can I help you? One of them goes on to say, how are you doing, sir? We've got some questions to ask you. He proceeds to say,
were you, sir, present at the Liberty service station on Grand Junction Road on the 28th of November at around 3:15 p.m?
Mario's mind freezes. He cannot believe what he's hearing right now, or what's even happening. Is this some kind of strange dream? It seems so real though, so lucid, so coherent. What on earth is going on? He remembers back to that day at the gas station, and he realizes that yes indeed, he was at the Liberty Service gas station on Grand Junction Road at about 3:15 p.m. It was the day he handed those keys back to the drunk man. As he rifles through all his mixed thoughts and emotions right now, trying to make some sense of what's going on. Right now, right in front of him, as these 4 officers are at his front door asking him about this very day, this very moment in time where he was present at this very location. Could it be related to this drunk guy's keys? Really? Nah. How could it? What an unhinged notion. And then his thought process suddenly changed dramatically when he remembered that news story. When he was watching the news the next day, and they had the story about the drunk driver who killed 4 people. But still he thought, what could this have to do with me? Why are these cops here asking about this? And remember, all these thoughts are happening super quickly as he's standing there looking at these officers, still not knowing what's even going on. And then suddenly one of them blares out,
were you or were you not at the Liberty service station on the 28th of November at around 3:15 p.m?
Yeah, Mario replies in a gentle voice. I believe that I bought some dish soap that day. Immediately, in a stern voice, the officer says,
You need to come with us down to the station.
Mario says, "You mean the gas station?" The officer says,
No, the police station.
Mario is shocked at what he's hearing. He's almost certain that this has got to be related to that drunk guy now. What else could it be? But at the same time, how could it be? How does this have anything to do with me? But regardless, he's got no choice really. He agrees to go down with him to the police station. So he gets in their police car. It's an unmarked vehicle. He sits in the back seat and they head off down to the station. On the way there, Mario is so confused and scared that he doesn't even ask any questions. He doesn't even know what to ask really, or he doesn't want to know the answer. He's worried about what this could be about. He doesn't even know what it could be really, but he's concerned at this point because they look very serious and very determined to keep him close by. Like back at the house before he got in the car, when he turned back into the house, one of them looked like he was about to grab him, you know? Like he thought, oh, maybe he's going to run. And that was the point at which he realized, yeah, this is serious. They mean business. When they arrive at the station, he's not handcuffed or anything. He's just willingly participating in this trip down to the police station to be interrogated. And so they get out of the police car and they walk through the police station, through the doors, the front doors, off towards the side a bit, and then they cross through a secure door and into an interrogation room. And all the while, the tension and the suspense in Mario's mind is magnifying and escalating to stratospheric proportions. At this point, he really is starting to worry whether he's going to get out of this place. He's never been in trouble before. This guy is a straight A, straight down the line guy. Mario Vieceli is the last guy you'd ever expect to land in a situation like this. So he has no idea what's going on. He has no idea what to expect next. He doesn't even know what it's about. In this room, Mario is sitting down, facing one officer who's sitting opposite to him, and two other officers sitting in the two corners opposite to him. So it's a square room. And the one sitting on the table opposite to him is asking him the questions. And then he would go on to ask him whether he encountered this drunk man. So yes, now he is certain that it is to do with the drunk guy. But Mario is still thinking, what's it got to do with anything? But he's so scared right now, so unsettled and uncertain as to what is going on. Because now he's kind of freaked out. He's like, what could this be? Like, because these cops look serious. They mean business. And so Mario, because he's scared, he doesn't ask them, like, what's going on? Like, what is going on here, dude? He's kind of just quiet, just waiting for these questions to come at him and see what they say next. And so the next thing he asks him is, did you hand this drunk man a set of car keys inside this gas station? And he said it in a fairly serious voice, not super threatening or anything, but it sounded serious. And Mario, he thought, well, I better just tell him the truth. You know, there's no good in lying, because then it'll probably get him in more trouble, if anything. If he's in any trouble at all, that is. He doesn't even know. And so Mario says, yes, I did. I gave this guy his keys back. Because he had dropped them. The officer immediately says, you are under arrest for accessory to manslaughter with a vehicle. Countless prosecutors in the area would express their disdain over this decision, this insane charge that they're pinning on him, on Mario, the outstanding citizen who never did anything wrong. Just picked up some keys with a good intent. That's the only reason he ever picked them up in the first place. And he was bullied into giving them back. He didn't even want to give them to this drunk guy, who ended up killing 4 people not more than 30 minutes after Mario handed him the keys back. Would you believe it? And Mario didn't want to do it. This guy was about to punch him in the face, saying, give me my keys back. It was the most awkward situation. I mean, what could he have done? What was he supposed to do? Fight him for his keys? Knock him out? Body slam him into the ground? This drunk dude? To steal his keys off him? So he could avoid some future charge that no one would ever have expected. I mean, this is unfathomable. Unheard of. But it would turn out that because there were 4 relatives to this billionaire, they threw a gargantuan amount of resources towards finding a culprit. Because remember, the drunk guy died in this accident, and so they couldn't put the blame on anyone, which is fair enough anyway, because if the guy that did it dies, then that's fair and square. But because these guys wanted blood, basically, and they had put $30 million into trying to find a perpetrator. And because of their massive resources, it wouldn't take long for them to track down where this drunk guy had been before he killed these people. Only half an hour had passed by the time this guy got in that accident and killed these people. And so these prosecutors, using their legal black magic, were able to pin charges on Mario for handing him the keys, right? Even though Mario just picked them up off the ground. And then it's just like, oh, here, have your keys back. But because he took possession of it, they had analyzed all the footage, all the CCTV footage from inside that gas station, and they were able to formulate a case which would essentially say that Mario had taken possession of the keys for long enough to say that he's in possession of them now, and then he gave them to him. So it's not like he just gave them back. He had possession. Then he gave these keys to this drunk guy, and the drunk guy immediately goes and gets 4 people killed. So it's like, here you go, sir. Take these keys and go put everyone in danger and get these people killed. That's how the prosecution is painting the picture for Mario. Crazy, right? When all was said and done, Mario would go on to receive a minimum sentence of 15 years in prison. He can't get out any earlier. That's like the best he can hope for, is to get out in 14 years. Crazy, isn't it? And again, it had a lot to do with the fact that the prosecution were being funded by multi-billionaires. After the news had broken about his final sentence, his son would fall into the deepest depression he had ever experienced. And his cancer actually came back immediately. He died within 3 months of Michael receiving that sentence. Michael died inside when he heard the news about his father. And then Mario died inside when he heard the news about his son. He was in prison for 3 months when he heard the news that his son had died. While he was in prison, all he could think about was his son. And he was so worried that he might not do so well. And he couldn't be more right. He only lasted 3 months. So Michael's in prison for 3 months. Imagine how bad he already felt. Just wondering, oh, my son, what's even happening with my son? And then he hears his son died while he's in, I can't think of anything worse, to be honest. This is like the lowest of the low that you could possibly go. And is this even real, guys? I'm going to tell you now. So I kind of told this story like it's real, like it was real. It's fiction, unfortunately. I mean, fortunately, why would you want this to be real? But I told it like it was non-fiction because, well, I didn't lie, technically. Don't hate on me. I didn't lie to you guys. I never said it's a true story. But I told it like it was, like with all these fine details, because it makes it more interesting. You know? So in the back of your mind, you're like, oh, it could be real, but I'm not sure. So yeah, it's fiction, and took a little while to make it up, but let me know if that was enjoyable, and I'll do more of those, because I actually enjoyed putting this together. So yeah, lucky it's not real, it's fake. There is no Michael, there is no Mario. That should have been the clue, right? How could this be real? This dude's called Mario, and this all just sounds a bit too extravagant. Let me know what you thought, guys. Leave some comments down below. Peace.